where we left off, you'd all made your way back into your humble abode in your flying palace of various intricacies and sections for all of your different wants and needs. And Tiago ran into an issue. That issue being an assassin, presumably sent by his family to murder him and Adamar, the next steps to the throne that is the Zuri claim to all of Inzarta. With that, you set upon a singular goal to infiltrate and destroy the Zuri family, or at least those involved in vampirism and the like. In particular, you found some information on an uncle of Tiago that seems to be fully imbibing this vampiric lifestyle. With him out of the way, it seems that Adamar would be more than fit to begin his conquest over the cities, potentially started from here or from the beginning of the Majocracy and out. Whether or not which way he decides to go. So, with that, I believe you guys were planning an assault. We'll pick up there. With you all having had your night's rest and preparing your spells, I believe you had some time toward the end of last session where you guys were planning these sorts of things. You're now looking toward what will be the day of your conquest. What will you do?
Well, yesterday, I don't know if I did this last time or not, so I'll just say it now. Yesterday, I cast Word of Recall on my
You did.
laboratory. So if things go badly, we can teleport back here.
Yeah, this has already been cast, so you don't have to use the spell.
Wonderful.
I don't know.
Think last time we talked about a bit about the layout, and we were trying to get information as to like what might be the best entrances and stuff like that. Or maybe we were going to go there and like scout it out. If we had determined we had time to do that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't seem like there was any specific pressing interest besides the fact that he's trying to kill you. But, what else is new? I mean, you had been in Matthias's mansion before. You kind of knew the rough layout, but I'm not sure how specific you want to get with your plans.
We know if Matthias is. I guess what I want to ask is like, how effective would it be to just eliminate Matthias? Or is there someone beneath him that would just immediately replace him? Is there someone beneath that person that would replace that person? Or is it
Yeah.
if we go in and remove the head off the snake, is that going to be enough?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like Matthias, I mean, this is all sort of to get his daughter placed as the head of the Zuri family, the representative to the Majocracy from Inzarda. Uh, you think that definitely Matthias is the ringleader to all this vampirism, this deep-seated sort of control from way back when, and he seems to be the primary arbiter of this, I guess, affront to the current ruling class. If you'll remember, there was a different ruler placed from Inzarda that has some questionable background in Tria, and he's definitely the foremost, I guess, adversary to her rule. But certainly, there are other people of his family that are of his persuasion. But without him, it's doubtful whether they could really stand in her way.
It might swing the pendulum in the other direction a little bit, or a lot of it.
Sure, and I mean, to be fair, the pendulum's already swung. I mean, this
Yeah.
woman is the ruler of Inzarta, and it's not like he's currently going about trying to eliminate her, as far as you know, at least. Uh,
He is trying to eliminate
though,
me, though, and other
yes,
members.
and it does seem to insinuate that he's clearing a path for his daughter to rule, which would
Right.
imply that the current ruler is also in danger. Though you have
Gotcha.
not spoken to her.
That makes sense. Okay. And that woman who's currently in power, I assume she's been kind of placed there by, did you say the Magocracy? Or
You, well,
my brother had something, potentially had something to do with it as well, right?
you don't really know,
Yeah.
but it seems like so. There are rumors that she was raised in Tria, and there are some rumors that she's not even related to you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
but she has supplanted the current Zuri clan as the ruler of Inzarta. Um, this is all following an assassination of the previous ruler that seems to have been conducted by the Bullseye Brigade. And this is another thing you
Okay.
could potentially look into. I mean, you certainly have contacts at the brigade, but such assassinations are usually kept pretty close to the chest, as you can imagine.
For my start of the day, I'm gonna, because I know we're sort of planning to head out here soon to Enzar
In Zarda?
Enzarda? N?
Yeah.
Is it like
In
Enzarda?
IN.
Inzarda.
in Zarta.
Inzarda. I thought there was maybe like a G sound in there. I was making that up. Anyways, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do a little boop 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 on my wrist piece here, and I'm gonna full on Mandalorian like rocket boots as I like, and I have improved upon my design of the boots I made for Tiago, or the ones I bought for Tiago, or whatever I did. And now I have like full on like hours worth of juice in my rocket boots, so I can essentially fly for several hours at a time. And I'm gonna fly on up to the roof where we parked our uh, air vehicle slash water vehicle, and I'm gonna essentially get her started for today. I'm gonna do a quick little sweep to make sure it's not falling apart, especially around that reactor like central piece that I built the dome around, and then I'll do like sort of a routine sweep and get it started, get it warm for them.
All right, not a problem. Go ahead and roll a piloting check just to see how everything's looking.
Piloting is
It's going to be just based off of your rank and
ooh,
skill.
piloting right. Okay, so 13 total.
13. I mean, everything looks up to snuff as far as you can tell. I mean, certainly the reactor is maintaining its stability.
I want to sneak up on him. That ship is on the top of my like room where I sleep. I think it's like up on the roof. I want to like go up there and sneak up behind.
Roll a stealth check.
Get my dice out here. $14.
Roll a perception check, Dr. Siegfried.
Natural 1.
You sneak up behind him without any problem. He seems very transfixed upon the machine that he's working on.
Since I
I'm
am
gonna like draw.
so unaware of your presence, you catch me out of character a bit, singing a sort of a jaunty tune to myself and getting a
Lovely.
little into it.
I'm gonna like draw the sword that he had given me quietly so as to not alarm him. When you created this blade for me, I thought Ken killer, and I'm gonna like hold it up, hopefully like startling him a little bit. I thought you intended for this to kill my brother. Was that the intention?
Oh no, it's time. You're going to kill me, aren't you?
No. I like sheathed the blade. No. Why would I
Oh,
do that?
sorry. What? Ever, everything about your presentation tells me that you're about to sneak up and stab me. I figured it was time.
I would not kill you,
Oh.
but I would sneak up on anyone who's. You'll have to forgive me. Was almost assassinated by my own family mere hours ago. So it seems this blade may have a fitting name after all, whether it was intended for my brother or not.
You gave me the rundown last night as to what we are doing, and that your uncle is a vampire lord, and etc. etc. Um, who do you plan to fill in this power vacuum? Who is trying to take over?
Uh, that's a good question. I hadn't really thought that far ahead. I
Be-
don't think Adamar wants to, but
because it is obvious Adamar has interests in being the Emperor, hence the name of your weapon, the Emperor's Folly. Uh, I don't want that. I don't agree with his politics, really.
I would say that Tiago, you're probably familiar at least with the Silver Snipers of the Bullseye Brigade, having a certain amount of control over politics in Inzarta. And if your suspicions are to be believed, it seems that they assassinated Sandrata, who was the previous ruler of Inzarta, and placed Taziki there as this sort of temporary patsy, if for lack of a
yeah,
better word. Um, and you think that the four of them are attempting to place their own, whoever they want on the throne, but have been unable to do so since they're not tied to the bloodline.
hmm. But I don't know who that person is, right? Like I wouldn't know
I
who it
mean,
is they're trying to put on the throne.
potentially not. For sure, you would know that the Silver Snipers were very disappointed upon Elray's departure.
Mm-hmm.
She was one of the four Silver Snipers remaining in the Bullseye Brigade.
Yeah.
The remaining three would probably be interested in themselves, but
Mm-hmm.
you don't know who necessarily.
Interesting. But they would have no claim to it. Like, why they would have to kill an awful lot of Zerdies to put one of them on the throne, right?
Maybe not so many as you might think. I mean,
And they're good at what
after
they do, which is killing people. So
after you cut off the head of the snake, is the body really going to follow?
that's a good question. I don't
You
know.
you immediately considered after the first assassination of Sandrata that this was an inside job, very likely done by the Bullseye Brigade. But it's so temporary that you assume that there were deeper ambitions there. You don't know where those might come from, but one doesn't just kill a Zuri or two for fun, much less supplant what appears to be a maybe not so just ruler in his place. From your
It's different.
perspective, it looks like more of a grand conspiracy, especially with you being targeted. You wonder if there might be ties deep in the Zuri family, specific people fighting for their rightful place among the Zuri elite. And there are those among the Inzardan population that have long felt that the Zuri family has been bad rulers or unfit to rule the rest of the population.
Mm-hmm.
Many people have taken on the name
Yeah.
to where the bloodlines are confused. They're
For sure.
it's not clear who would be the natural ruler if, for example, your cousin, you began dropping like flies.
Right. I guess I'll, as I kind of sheathe the sword, I don't know who will take the place of the throne. I don't know if Adamar wants to rule over Enzarda. He claims to want to rule over everything. Enzarda might just be a stepping stone. And I agree that his politics are less about ruling or helping people and more about firebombing entire civilizations and upending and changing the world, which I can't say I agree with entirely either. But I am glad that you and Father T and Goal and Aiken are all at my side. Whatever happens, I know you'll help bring balance to the situation. Maybe we can fill that void. What I do know is that if we kill this vampire, my uncle, right? My uncle,
Yeah, Matthias.
will at
He's
least
your uncle.
prevent more assassins from coming to eliminate me and putting you guys in danger. Let's start there.
It is a good start.
I want to come in to this conversation at some point, but not sneakily.
No problem.
Doctor, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, Goal.
You may have noticed I have a new weapon. It's called a meteor hammer. And I present it. I let the hammer part drop and I hold on to the chain. The other end has basically a really small ball just to use as a handle. I would like to refashion this end of the weapon. I would like to put some sort of a blade on this end. Doesn't have to be a big blade, something that can penetrate even only an inch or two. And I don't know what to do about it, but perhaps something that's good against vampires. I don't possess the skills that you do. I'm open to ideas.
Yes, I could certainly try. What sort of blade do you want to have at the end? Sort of as a general comparison to regular blades.
Short blade, 3 inches or less, double-sided. Something that is good for straight penetration as opposed to slicing. And I'm going to step back and start swinging this around like I would. And then I'm going to swing and I'm going to kind of act like I'm going to fake to one side with the ball hammer side. And then I'm going to, all of a sudden, the other end is going to jut towards you, probably come out like almost 6 feet towards you. And then I'll snap it back real quick. That would be the attack.
I write down your specifications and yes, I'll start working on you know, the outline, the broad sort of schematics here. I'll try to piece something together.
So I'll hold it up by the chain and I'll hand it over and bow.
Thanks.
So are you planning on doing that today, or are you still...
Yeah, I guess, I don't know, I don't want to, if there's time to.
It's up to you. I'm not sure when you guys are traveling out.
Okay. Well then, I will cast guidance upon myself, and then I will just use my my smithing tools. I don't know if I have a particular like weird metal or anything to make it out of. Yeah, we'll just try to make something the old-fashioned way, not necessarily crazy and magical.
I
Okay.
I I could say I could give you one of the shuriken stars that I have if you wanted to use that metal because they're all metal.
No, I can just use whatever. I just was looking to see if I had any special anything. I know we talked about like moon rocks at one point. I didn't know if I had any of those floating around the inventory.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I assume with the smith's tools, I can just sort of bang something out real quick.
Sure.
I will
Go ahead and
try.
roll using your proficiency and your I would I would say just intelligence as you're trying to plot out the schematics with this very odd and definitely not a weapon that you see every day.
Is this something I could help him with, like with my help action?
Sure. If you'd like to roll with advantage.
I'll just say I kind of like I don't intrude, but if there's any way I can like be like, the blade would catch a sword really well there, or I'll like give just little bits of like I'm not a blacksmith, but I do know blades.
I'll
So
as I'm like making your blade, I'll like hold out my hand and I'll be like, could I see your could I see the sword again? And I want to use the sword that I made already as like reference. And I'm like, ah, I did I did such great work.
it is
Go back.
perfect.
Uh, that advantage is gonna help pretty darn well.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see here. If I rolled like crazy, could we throw some? You know what I mean? Like throw something else in there. Like I'm talking. Like what's a DC you would use it to give it like to make it like real good? You know what I mean? Like what's the DC there?
I suppose it depends what you mean by real good.
That's. I also don't want to know what I mean by real
Vampire
good.
instant kill
Right, yeah.
blade.
Blade
Oh,
of
then a DC of 138, I think would be.
So
I
I
got a
have with
D138
his
for sure.
help, I already forgot it. Sorry. Uh, 28, and I
28.
could expend one of my resources to make that a 33, which is a lot
Do you?
because I love Goal so much. I will
I'm
do it
gonna
for
look him in
him.
the eyes. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Do it. Do it.
I will get
Do
a
it.
33 on that check. Do you want to know the number I rolled on my die?
I do.
12.
Uh huh.
Got a lot
For
of
sure.
modifiers.
I love artificers. All right. In that case, you take a brief moment and you lift this sort of odd weapon, something you're not very familiar with. You kind of measure the balances on it. It doesn't quite add up to you. You think you can improve it significantly. Immediately, you look over to Goal. He reaches out with one of his shurikens, and instead, you use your tome of alchemy to just transform some of scrap wood on the top of this the ceiling, I suppose, the roof of this building that you're on, into this jagged and crooked blade. It's probably not what Goal had in mind, but it flattens the weight ratio perfectly to where one side weighs an indistinguishable amount from the other. The weight is so perfectly balanced that just using the weapon seems to imbue it with ki. So much so that whenever you attack with this weapon and use a key point, it regenerates that key point automatically.
So he can just use a key point on an attack basically for free.
That's right.
So I craft this thing and I set it down and I look up at you before I give it to you and I sort of uncharacteristically like will get down and I will like quietly say a prayer over top of it just to like divinely bless it as like just perfect, and I go, now it is complete.
I'll take it, and I'm gonna back up and start swinging around like I would, and it's noticeably faster because of the balance as I swing, and I'm just like swinging it, and I actually start to smile as I'm swinging it around one end from another, and there's a way to do it where you like wrap it around your arms and it goes around your neck, and then all of a sudden it all comes undone, and you go throw it all out the whole length. I'm like smiling ear to ear, which is very uncharacteristic for me. And then I come down, and then I finish it by wrapping it around my arm with its own momentum, and I look at you and I bow, and then I smirk again, and then I walk away.
Uh, it was an honor working on a weapon for you, and I will say that since I have made this for you, you only owe me one singular thing, and that is you must properly name your weapon. Not now. I don't want to put too much pressure upon you, but since the weapon is so finely made and intricate, it deserves a name to match its personality.
I feel the ki flowing through my body when I swing it. I will put some thought into this. It will have a name before the end of the night.
Good. It deserves one. Now, let's get to using it on some vampires. Uh, call everyone, over if they are ready. I'll hop in and get things ready.
Does the blade end, Logan, does it do the same damage, which is, I believe, 1d6 that the meteor hammer normally does?
Yeah, I would say so, while
Okay.
also restoring a key point.
Okay. That makes it simple, so I don't have to distinguish which end I'm hitting with.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Ooh, I gotta think of a good name.
Well, I sleep in, and so now I've come to the main room, and I'm like, where the fuck is everything? Did they leave without me? Really? Ah. Adamar built this fortress, right? Correct? Yeah. So is there like,
Kinda.
He
well,
funded it.
he had it built. Is there like, I don't know, extra luxuries we don't need laying around, like really nice candlesticks or something that
Oh,
I
for
could maybe
sure. I mean,
resell? I'm gonna just start gathering stuff that we like is unnecessary that we
mhm.
don't need to sell because I'm broke. Um, and I need 1,000 gold pieces before we we fight this vampire.
I see. So you go collecting various odds and ends from around the stronghold there.
Yep, and I'm gonna put him in like a big bag, um, and like be dragging it behind me because it's a bit too much for me to carry. Um, hopefully we'll
Roll
stop in a city or something first.
roll a perception check. See if you're able to find anything of real value.
Ooh, ooh, 27.
Okay. You're like collecting random odds and ends and everything. Then you open a cabinet and you see a variety of crystal shot glasses. And immediately you throw the rest of the junk away that you've been collecting and salvage these. You assume them to be worth around 1,000 gold pieces.
Well, this is actually perfect. I need to find the doctor immediately. Perhaps he can transform these into the spell component I need. And I will go on the hunt for the doctor.
Okay. You carry up like this, uh, like almost carrying case of 10 shot glasses to the doctor. There are all these nice crystal gold, I guess, rimmed.
Bit early for that, don't you think?
I don't drink. Addles with the mind. I can't risk it. Doctor, in the past, you have been able to take materials and transform them into other materials, and I was hoping perhaps you could help me out with a modification for my staff that might make me more efficient against this vampire. You see, I have these 10 crystal shot glasses, and I need them configured in a very specific lens that I can focus the light through in order to send it back through time and call it back forward through time, back in its original state, sunlight. As I believe sunlight might be of some use against this vampire lord. I can describe the exact lens I need, if that would help.
Oh, I know the lens you're referring to. Um, Here, I'll just.
I need a sunburst pendant worth at least 1,000 gold pieces.
Let me just check the specifics here. What's going on? You need a what now?
Sunburst pendant worth at least 1,000 gold pieces.
Okay, is that something specific that I would have to know, or can I just?
I would say with uh, the father's detailed description and your knack for transfiguration, you would be able to develop something that would be sufficient with the 1,000 gold of crystal.
I think I can do that.
How does it work? How much like mass can you transfer
Well,
per
it says
use?
to touch an object, but it also gives like length that it can be no longer than 1 foot on a side. So, so 2-ish feet, I guess, of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I would say that that's not a problem. It's a very odd experience as these glasses all like melt together as you're transfiguring them over to this pendant that is formed. You see like this beautiful like sun shape where it has all these I guess auxiliary lines coming from it that seems to emanate from the center of this like golden orb. Uh, but the pendant seems to have been formed.
I'm gonna hit a button on my staff and a little compartment comes out and I put it in and it sort of give it a little twist and it fits neatly into place. I jam it back in.
It's like the.
I think that will suffice.
Thank you. I
Thank
am
you.
being asked for a lot of help this morning, and
Well,
I have to say I appreciate it greatly. I love to keep my hands busy, and if you guys need stuff, I love to work on something for you. So, yeah, I appreciate it, and please, if you ever need anything else, please come on by.
I will. I will not need this sunburst pendant again. It was a one-time occurrence, but
Perfect. I was planning on getting ready to go, though, so, if ever.
I am also ready to go now.
Perfect.
That was my one thing.
I'll try to find Aiken. I'm gonna go look for Aiken.
All right.
And if I find Adamar as well, I'll be looking for him. Am I lagging? I look like I'm lagging.
No, you're perfect.
Okay.
Aiken's easy enough to find. He's strolling through the commons of the area this morning. Adamar a bit more difficult.
Good morning. You look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Is that you look good, kid. You look awake.
Bushy-tailed? I think I'm more aqueous than that. Anyway,
True.
what do you need?
Help killing a vampire if you're still interested. Seems the rest of the crew's gathered at the ship.
Of course. Always down to shoot things and kill things.
Take whatever you need. Head goes boom, or we'll help you in this endeavor. We head to Inzarda. I'll see you there.
Specific time that we're leaving?
I think as soon as possible. Unless you're not ready. Let the others know.
Oh, I'm ready.
I'll be there in a moment. I'm gonna look for Adamar. Did we fight? Didn't we get in like a big ass fight with Adamar?
Yeah.
What happened? We forgot what happened. Someone recap what happened.
he was extremely annoyed with your persistence of him not being emperor. He dealt with the person that tried to assassinate him and felt that
Right.
it was time for him to make his move. You felt otherwise. There were degrees of him being annoyed and frustrated with your inability to comprehend the deeper plan of the Skying Witch.
Gotcha.
And
Yeah, if
then,
he's around, yeah,
even before that happened, we had left Adamar in another fight. So we were
yeah,
that is two
because we didn't
issues.
tell him what we were up to, right?
And
And he had to
the
kill the
the
Well,
leader.
that's a
Tria,
whole different issue.
Yeah,
Yeah, when you went and revived Tria, and he had to murder the Tria councilman in front of the council. That was a previous issue. But
Yeah, I
also,
want to
yes.
find him. I need to find him if he's around. I'm gonna ask around anyone who's works where I trust, like if they've seen Adamar,
Okay.
if his ship is here.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it's not easy to find him, but eventually you see him floating down toward you. Yes, brother.
I wanted to say good morning, and I wanted to tell you that we're heading to Inzarda.
Hmm. All right.
I'm glad to see you well. I'm glad that the assassins didn't take either of our lives. I know that you and I have not been on good terms lately, but I came to tell you what we're up to, and that we could use your help.
My help. Certainly you jest. You still work with the one who finds me an outsider, a fool. Unless Dr. Siegfried won't be there.
He will be. And though you guys can't see eye to eye, I know that we have common purpose.
Can't see, I disagree. Our purpose is far from common. He wants me a meddling slave to his ambition. For me, he could be an ally. But instead, he's an adversary. As many of you have become. You're the only one I trust, brother. You and Callie. And Callie is waning on me once again. If you're to kill my uncle, watch who you place before me, for they will also perish.
If you trust me, then you should trust them. I only go.
Oh, brother, if you trust me, then you should trust them. Oh, you jest so finely. Do you trust me?
I do.
And what of Dr. Siegfried, then? He's told you many times not to trust me. To trust our family. Who warned you of us first? Was it him? No. I told Aiken what would happen. He did nothing. None of them are trustworthy. Only you and I, Tiago. And I won't say it. But even you are losing my faith. You've left me once, leave me again. Or will this be the third time? I've lost count. Just know, Tiago, anyone who stands before me will be burnt. They will be ash before me. Before us, if you choose it. But before me, first off. I don't want to burn you as well. But I will. I will burn anyone who stands in my way, Tiago. Anyone. If you want my help, have Dr. Siegfried come and ask me. I'd be happy to acquiesce. What are you afraid of? You fear him over me? Fool.
I have missed you, little brother. Even when I found you again, I miss you still. I'm just gonna turn and leave.
You're a fool! You're all fools. Short-sighted. Simple. Thinking of your own heads, your own lives. This goes beyond any of us!
I just walk away as he's yelling.
Live for yourself, then. I will fight for all of us. For humanity. Fool! Oh!
I'm gonna go meet at the ship, I guess.
Okay.
Kind of quietly by myself. I'm ready to go.
As am I.
All aboard, explorers.
Right. Everyone's hopping on board the ship, I presume. And you are piloting it, Dr. Sigfrid?
I'm gonna turn around and say, "Hey, shall I continue to drive, or does anyone else feel the inclination?"
I can drive. I have a rank of driving.
Uh, I would love to, unless somebody else would like to take over.
I can drive.
Yes, but do you want to?
Sure, it will be pleasant. A nice
Okay.
Sunday drive.
What day?
A nice Festar drive.
Hmm.
Yes. I'll dust off the captain's chair and like motion to it. Here you go. Oh, just so you know, she is a bit repurposed. So when you do steer, just make sure to really lean into it because sometimes she does not steer. You'll get the hang of it. And I want to cast guidance on
Put
her.
like the gas pedal to the floor as he's saying this, and we just.
Lovely. Go ahead and roll. Does guidance give advantage?
No, it's a D4, and I'll roll it for you, Will.
A D4. Then go ahead and roll just a D20 plus 1 for your piloting proficiency. And plus 4 for the guidance.
21.
Very nice. I will say that you gain an additional rank in your piloting after a relatively smooth transition over to Inzarda. It's an interesting drive in as you're lowering into the city. You see what looks to be a grand caravan being stocked with munition. Presumably, at least guess, to be going to the counter Tria effort. Though you can see that the people stocking the ship may be less than inclined to do so. There's quite a bit of struggle here on the docks as each of these shipments is being filled with magical munitions, bombs, nukes, grenades, anything you can think of, from the most dire to the most mundane of explosives. There are also a variety of landmines being transitioned, as well as firearms. Any new age weaponry that you can think of is being added on to the barge. Landing next to it, you see the people working, lifting and hauling these crates up on a board. You actually see that there are quite a few armed guards around them that some of you may recognize as potentially Trian, though it's hard to say. It kind of gives you pause as to whether these shipmen might be going to one side or the other in the grand conflict. But either way, you presume that this is bad for the overall cause of peace that you've been fighting for.
I'm gonna look around to the rest of the guys of the ship and say, "Forgive me for not knowing. We are in Majocracy territory, right? Or at least anti-Tria territory."
Inzarda's a little bit undefined. Originally, it leaned a little bit more Tria, but after Tria's expulsion from the Majocracy, things have gotten shaken up a little bit. But as the primary arms dealer, they've never been too friendly with the Majocracy, nor with Tastrals.
And I would imagine they probably deal with both sides, maybe. I don't know.
Well,
Would I
if
know anything
they're
about that?
well, if their current ruler is, as is rumored, from Tria, you presume that they would be heavily Trian favored in this
Okay,
conflict,
yeah. That makes sense.
though openly admitting such a thing would certainly be suicidal.
Right.
Remember, if things go terribly down here, just get within 5 feet of me. I've set up a time loop to return us home instantly. And then I take us in.
Did you just
Okay.
say time loop?
Very nice. Yeah, you land no problem here in the docks. Are you going to leave your ship here, or are you going to try to move more directly into central Inzar?
We could just take it right to the palace.
We should probably keep a lower profile.
Smart. I like the way you think. I'll take us down and land us.
Okay, you land on the docks, not a problem. There are a number of places to sort of anchor down your airship among the many other airships coming to and from Inzar today.
I'm gonna fashion like a disguise while we were flying, just kind of in the back of the ship, doing my own thing. Just make a disguise as like not me. I don't know, maybe some old guy with some like a kind of a gray beard and an eye patch or something.
Okay, go ahead and roll a dexterity check plus your proficiency modifier. I assume you're proficient with disguise kits.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh, nice. Okay. You said just a dex plus proficiency.
Correct.
23.
All right. You all look over to see Tiago now very much changed. He still has like distinctly elven features, but he looks like a very ancient elf, maybe a half elf just by the aged look to his face and the beard. Uh,
Yeah.
some parts of
I'm
him
gonna
look
change
like,
my wardrobe too. Sorry.
yeah, some parts of him look almost like low class. Like he's not going to fit in amongst the Zuris, to be sure. He looks like a half elf who's probably been outcast from the central clique of the higher ups here. In some way, he's almost looks like Father T, older man, half elven.
Uh,
We could be brothers.
and as I look over to see this, I'm gonna say, "Oh yes, good idea." I'm gonna snap my fingers and use my hat of disguise, which is one of the infusions I have, to just instantly just. And I will turn into as well like a big bushy old man beard that's all white and whatnot, and I wanted my clothes to look like the dock workers' clothes that we saw loading in the weapons when we came in.
Okay.
I don't think this is very funny, you two.
What's
I'm gonna
so
change my clothes as
funny?
well. I'm gonna hobble over like and my kind of match my clothes to Father T's as well. Just because I have that cloak of like I don't remember what it is, but it can change my attire, and I'm gonna like almost like we went shopping together, me and Father T. And I'm gonna like kind of with a hitch in my step walk over to him.
You all look very Jurikasti, for sure.
Well,
The other
in
two of
some way.
you
we should
maintaining
we
your...
should go investigate that was my impression of you. That's could you tell it was Father T?
Amazing. Sounded just like him. I thought there were two of you for a moment.
Yes. Sorry, Father.
One day, you'll
Apologies.
all see. You'll all see.
So, are you heading toward Zuri mansions here in the interior of Inzarta.
Should we? Is there anything like any information or anything that we can think of that we may need before heading in here?
I mean, we could talk to the Bullseye Brigade, though I don't know what I'd ask him. We could talk to the current ruler, though I don't know what I'd ask her. We could go to the safe house where Calhoun is at, the guy who we've worked with before. He's in Inzarda and has a safe house. He might know the ins and out of the palace. He might know a place where we could like stage up and like watch the place and like learn their like patrols and stuff and learn like when we should attack. You know what I mean? So that we have a better advantage. Like,
All right. I'm gonna say, in my disguise, I'm gonna look over to you and say, so you have a shady friend here in Inzarta, right?
I do. In most cities.
Perhaps we should
Calhoun's
go
here, though.
meet him.
I agree. I think I know where he'd be, too. Would I know where he'd be?
Oh, certainly. I mean, you spent a lot of time in Zarda.
Fuck yeah. Unless anyone else has any other ideas or places they need to go in Zarda. We could do that first. No takers? Follow me. And I'll try to lead them through Inzarda in such a way that we're just obscure, blend in with the crowds, and make our way to this safe house.
All right. Yeah, you make your way through the outer ring, which is an area that you're probably very familiar with. It's definitely a little bit on the rougher side. Aiken, in particular, is probably like, not so familiar with being here on the outskirts of Inzarda, but definitely fits in well. It's sort of a natural inclination for Aiken to like pull his bow out, like be on guard as you move your way through, but no one stops you, no one confronts you on your way to the safe house that Calhoun frequents. Moving toward there, you see it's an old shop where they used to sell bike parts, but now has been long shut down. And it's now the safe house for Calhoun and your road brothers.
Would I know any like secret knock or anything like that? Like, does the door open? What's it look like? Like, what's
It looks like an old like shut down shop window. You see there's like some broken glass, like some cracked door frames and stuff. The door itself doesn't look like it locks well. You think you can just
are there
walk right
people
in?
visibly in there? Or does it
Not
look
from where you look.
completely
It
abandoned?
looks like most
Okay.
people. I mean, from what you know, most people spend time in the basement.
I'm gonna kind of like hesitantly like look back and say, I think this is the place, but keep your wits about you. And I'll like go towards the door and kind of creak it open.
Okay, not a problem. It opens readily, and immediately you walk up to the trapdoor that you've probably gone down a number of times. You see it currently slightly propped open.
I'm gonna listen and see if I hear anybody down there.
All right. You hear a familiar voice of Calhoun. Well, listen, if he wasn't no trouble, I wouldn't be no trouble to him. But that's the way things go. He wants to meet me at Dead Man's. Well, god damn it if I won't meet him. You hear another voice. But you can't. Listen, are you really going to give your life over something so trivial? Listen, Dead Man's Bend is. Hell, it's a better death than I expected. And I don't plan on dying. I'm going to be there tomorrow whether you want me to go or not. Best you get on my side now.
All right, I'm gonna post up my Steel Defender, which I also probably should have mentioned. I was walking through town. I don't know if that would have gotten us any attention. Oh,
Not a
no,
whole
wait,
lot.
sorry.
Occasionally.
I will keep it in my bag of holding, because
Even
that is
better.
something I prepared. And then as we get to this safe house trapdoor, I'm gonna pop out the cat to sit, and I'm gonna say, "You know what to do if anything goes awry." And it opens its mouth, and there's like a small speaker box, and you hear just like a like a cat, like a jungle cat noise. I'm like, good girl, good girl.
Upon hearing that noise, the people down below
Oh shit!
stop their conversation. Who's that then? Come on down.
Tiago.
I'm gonna like kind of shamble down the stairs, trying to continue my impersonation of this old man. Hello? Hello?
Sorry, we're closed for business. Afraid this shop's been closed for some time, Oldster. If you wouldn't mind moving on.
I'm gonna like keep walking into the room, just like completely like
Excuse me, sir. Please. He like puts like a hand up.
No. This place smells different. I'm gonna see if he like recognizes me. I'm just testing my disguise. Like get closer and closer to him. I don't know. Smells. And I'm gonna like try to like pull a dagger like on him, like quick sleight of hand, a dagger like up on him.
All right. You see him like take a step toward you, and then the dagger's just at his throat. Well, listen
Like
here.
flip the eye patch up. You've gotten old, Calhoun.
Maybe I have. Mostly I've gotten sick and tired of this bullshit. He just kind of like shoves the dagger away.
What's Dead Man's Bend?
You act like you don't know. Didn't you grow up on these streets? You would know that.
I did not, and I as well am curious as to what Dead Man's Bend is.
You can come down. I like say to everyone else.
I know what the Dead Man's Bend is.
Somebody read their instructional material.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dakin.
Well, am I intruding on your conversation,
No,
Tiago?
please enlighten me.
It's where men
like
go
we get
to
bored.
duel to the death at a specific crossroads.
Yes,
Let me
it
say
is.
that.
Duels are entirely legal here in Enzarta. And there are very specific rules for what types of weaponry are allowed and even where they're to be held. Namely, they are only held on a central road called Dead Man's Bend that cuts between the Zuri Mansion and the Outer Ring.
Well, that's it. We should just
That's
challenge the
perfect.
Vampire Lord to a duel.
To my knowledge, is the Dead Man's Bend like very popular, or is it like desolate? Because I feel like, is that more of like, oh, that's a thing, or is it like, no, this is a thing?
I'm not sure to answer that question, but if duels are legal and they're held here, so it is the place where you go to kill someone if you're going to kill
Or
them.
die. Yeah.
Or die. Outside of that, no one goes there because no one wants to die, mostly. Also, no one goes from the outer, outer stretch of town where things are rougher toward the Zuri Mansion. The outer ring and the Zuri Mansion are clearly cut off by Dead Man's Bend, and that's not unintentional.
Who are you in trouble with? Who's the duel with?
Well, you might remember last I spoke to you, I mentioned I had a little bit of a problem.
I do.
That problem's with a druid. Someone in touch with the earth. He had some problems with the state of affairs as they are. Had a big mouth about it, too. Well, the more you start selling bombs, the more they try and burn you for who you are. There's an issue here, Zara. I think I was the front man for it. Been trying to sell best I can to Tria. Give them what they can to survive. Not much these days, but whatever I can sneak through. A lot of people rather see Tria fall, like it once did. You and I both know we brought it back for a reason. Not about to let it see it go again. I've been doing what I can. But with wartime comes catastrophe, desolation, destruction. Sure, you all know best as anybody. Everything I sell to Tria gonna come back down on this land. Easy way or the hard. Well, this druid decided it'd be better to see Tria fall. I didn't think so. Been arguing with him for some time, but things have finally gone over the, well,
Diplomacy has failed.
diplomacy has well and gone to failure. Tomorrow will be the day where I'm gonna face him off. I don't see myself winning, but I won't shy off from some challenge from this man nor no other. I'm happy to die for what I think is right. Happy to die for you, for all of us here who fight for what's right.
I'd prefer personally that you live and help us all achieve more of what we did in Tria. How can we see that done?
Sir, I mean no disrespect to assume that you would take an unfair advantage in any sort of duel situation. You seem a man of honor. I just want
You
you...
got me wrong already.
Perfect, so you
kinda
are a
smirk.
bit more fun than I thought.
And you're more fun than I thought. Four Eyes.
Thank you. I had also said prior that I do not trust a man who would kill for politics. However, your reasoning has, frankly, strangely, changed my mind a bit. It does not happen often, so congratulations. I just wanted to offer we, as a unit, could help you out in any sort of duel situation. We are pretty sneaky.
Listen. What'd you say your name was?
Dr. Siegfried, you can call me.
Listen, Doctor.
That works.
I've seen what you can do. You and the rest of y'all up against that demon we fought in Tria. It's not that I don't respect you. I do, really. But if you ain't willing to fight for your politics, for the politicking of these people, well, way I see it, you're about as bad as this druid. Rather see the people die than fight for their cause, because it might make a stir. Not that I don't agree with you, not that I don't want you on my side. When you say stuff like that, it makes me nervous. I'm not halfway committed. You understand me? I'm fully committed.
Yeah, I do understand, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
So I have to say, I apologize. I have never thought about it like this before. I guess I come from a particularly privileged position, because I've just never really considered politics at all. They did not seem important to me. Obviously, I had it put very well.
Of course. Don't mean no trouble by you.
Of
All I'm
course.
saying is, if there's politics willing to watch a tree burn, drop from the sky, well, that's no majocracy I can stand behind. And, well, if I can do anything about that, I damn well intend to.
And then we're
Other
on
than
the
that,
same team. Clearly. I say tomorrow we kill this druid, move on to the next stage, eliminate my uncle. That's less assassins trying to kill us.
Yo, uncle.
Matthias, surely you know who he is?
Certainly heard the name. Listen, you might not fully be understanding who this druid is. He's the groundskeeper at the Matthias Mansion. Works on all the Zuricon. Growing, filling their pockets.
Then our goals are even more aligned than you think. We are inherently linked, my friend.
But I'm not sure taking him at. Well. Dead Man's Band has been known to. Well, what's the best way to say it? Uneven the odds in any duel. Especially in Zuri favor.
Why is
If
that?
You'd probably know better than me. All I know is not many Zuri losing duels out on Dead Man's Bend. That close to the mansions, you never know what might interfere. If it were up to me, I'd say we take it to them first. Attack tonight. Kill that groundskeeper and Matthias both. Whoever else you want dead. You're one I trust, Tiago. I don't say that to nobody. So if you got a plan, I'd like to hear it.
I'm gonna look at the rest of the crew.
It's nighttime right now.
It's midday.
Oh, it's midday.
You left in the morning and just got here.
If you look over my way, I'm gonna be like shaking my head, and I'm gonna pull out my sword, flip it around, and it's gonna glow. I like killing at night.
So does Matthias.
I'm gonna look at Aiken, Father T, Siegfried. What do you think?
Is this groundskeeper of Empire too?
Worse, he's a druid. Circle of the moon, the way I hear it. Spends more time in his animalistic forms than he does as a human. If he ever once was one. He'll be wandering the grounds just some beast or another.
We certainly don't want to fight them at the same time if we can avoid it. Is there a way we can get this groundskeeper out by himself? Eliminate him first?
Don't see why not. He
Could-
lives in a. Go ahead.
Could I specifically roll insight after discussing the the severity of how bad the groundskeeper is? Specifically,
Sure.
that statement is what I want to clear up. And he's not just some guy, even though they were talking about it outside of our 22.
Okay. You want to know if he's actually like a big deal or?
If he's like if if he's bad enough that I wouldn't have ethical concerns about jumping him in the middle of the night and trying to kill him.
Gosh, that's tough.
That is kind of a loaded question.
I mean, it certainly seems like he, you know, at least made Calhoun duel him, which is pretty bad. Calhoun seems like a nice guy, at least for the most part. I don't know about your specific ethical concerns, but it seems like this guy is working for a real bad guy
Yeah.
and seems committed to the destruction and the removal of Tria as one of the floating cities, which is probably not a thing
Yeah,
you're a huge fan
that's
of.
bad. Yeah, that is.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't seem like this guy knows a lot about him personally.
yeah.
he might be an okay guy, but
As
you have
that's
long
any
not what this guy's
as
misgivings-
worried about.
as
Yeah.
long as
You have any
Calhoun like genuinely believes that he's like a bad dude, then I'll genuinely believe it's a bad dude.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm not even sure Calhoun would believe he's a bad dude. He just believes that he's standing for the wrong side.
Right.
He's
Yeah.
making money off of helping a vampire lord do his deeds.
Yeah, and
He
he's preventing
literally
Calhoun.
provides. Yeah.
He's preventing Calhoun from smuggling arms to the pretty much
Mm.
defenseless trio.
Yeah.
Works directly for the guy who tried to kill me with an assassin.
Very much so. Yeah.
Fuck him.
Okay.
Well, Calhoun, I trust you implicitly, and I do believe that we have to take care of this guy. I wouldn't mind getting rid of him. However, if Matthias is truly a vampire, perhaps while the night would give us the most cover, it would be also more advantageous to him.
That's right.
Well, that's why we have Father T. Isn't
However,
that right?
well, glad to hear we might have another source, but way I hear it, during the day, you won't get a hand on him, much less a full frontal assault. At least in the nighttime, he's wandering the grounds. Maybe we catch this druid unawares. Hopefully, finish him off quickly. Matthias might be quick to join the fray. Maybe we can tack him along with the death toll. Listen, I wasn't planning a grand heist or anything. But if you all have any ideas, I'm all ears. Otherwise, I'm gonna do what I do, which is fight those who are against me, fight for those I believe in. Tiago, I trust you just about as much as I trust anybody. You call the shots here. It's your uncle. You want to see him dead? Let's get him dead.
I honestly don't know what tactical advantage we would have if we. I mean, I'm all ears for anyone's ideas. Obviously, it's not all up to me. If there's a way we can sneak in, if there's a way we can, draw attention to the front and sneak around the back to kill Matthias. It sounds like we need to kill them both, though. What do you
And
guys?
neither of these people are your uncle. These are two other people, right?
Matthias is my uncle.
Matthias is your uncle. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's the druid is the groundskeeper for your uncle, and your uncle is your uncle.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the groundkeeper for all of the mansions of Zuri. So all of Zuri.
I think perhaps your friend here has a point. Perhaps we should mount our attack during the night. The vampire lord will be stronger, but it will perhaps, he'll be more off his game. He'll expect someone to attack during the day because that's when he's weak.
Right.
And I don't know how much benefit we get from attacking during the day if he's inside, not
Yeah.
in sunlight.
That is the
anyways.
point I was actually. I forgot. He's gonna be inside anyways.
That's right. Yeah. I also think that in the night, there's a chance we might catch him alone. In the day, he's always got a garrison around him, 3 or 4 Zuri at minimum. No offense. Looks over to Tiago.
Do you know where the groundskeeper will be at night? Do you know his paths, his routine?
Don't know that far, but he does have a sort of a guest house on the grounds of the Zuri mansions. He works there, lives there, got a greenhouse connected to it, usually working the plants in the evening. We attack right at dusk, We'll probably catch him doing the watering.
Sounds easy enough. We'll try to be sneaky at first. We don't want to
Listen.
raise any suspicions, obviously.
I don't want you underestimating him. He's powerful in his connection to the earth. The plants work for him as much as he works for them. I've seen him to transform into beasts of unimaginable size. I hunted down what I thought was a giant eagle once, just to see him walk out of the brush. He's powerful. You need to be careful when you approach him. And then your uncle even more so. I've seen him strike down people with a look.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
have to be extra careful.
I prepared a spell for that.
I say we go do it.
Yes. Do we have to attack them both at once? Could we go knock out the druid now and do your
Yeah.
uncle later?
So now
Yeah, if we can.
I think we go right at dusk. Try and get the groundskeeper before Matthias can react. I'm not sure what kind of offensive capabilities you have, but if we can get him before he transforms, we can take him out quickly. Though you don't look the stealthiest bunch. Few you do, but no offense. There's a couple of you look like you drag your feet when you walk.
I do. It is a medical condition.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's all right. It is.
But we can move in quick. You guys got some way to appear there or get there right quick? We could probably blow him up in a quick couple of blasts, but we don't get him out quick. Next thing you know, you're fighting a T-Rex alongside Matthias. God knows what else.
Well, maybe we should lure Matthias away from the building. That way, even if things go poorly, it will be harder for him to alert Matthias. We should lure the druid away, not Matthias.
I agree.
I don't hate the idea. But listen, if he sees me, he's gonna know the game is up.
Well, maybe you could be like, meet me at Dead Man's Bend right now, and then we ambush him on the way to Dead Man's Bend.
He'd never do something like that, and on top of that, it'd be against my honor. I'd already planned at a time tomorrow. I don't plan to go back on that. If he's alive, I'll be at Dead Man's Bend. I'm gonna fight him tooth and nail. But I can't guarantee I'll win.
I say we go to this greenhouse. Those that are stealthy, stealth in. Try to subdue or kill him, and those that are not as stealthy. Is there a way that we can move quickly from a great distance to the fight without burning nothing?
I can move a great distance fast.
All right, I'm gonna run to the restroom and get some beers.
Okay.
You guys plan.
Getting
How do
some
we want to do
beers,
this?
not just one. Some beers.
That's the way to do it. This thing holds 2, so I gotta put 2 in it.
The way to do it is, if you're if you're looking to have a good time, you say, would you have 8 beers? I'd have 8 beers. That's the limit. That's how you know you're having a good time is 8 beers. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. 1 or 2 or 10.
1 or 2 or 10. That's good. I think we should.
How are we gonna do this, guys?
I think
So,
we should try to lure him away.
Okay. I was just considering my movement whenever I transform into the Moonwalker, and I can dash as a bonus action, which, if I'm understanding that correctly, I have a movement of 50 feet, which means I can dash twice in one round.
Ooh.
That's 100 feet that I can move in one round.
150 if you're dashing twice.
Or not? Oh yeah.
Or I can move 75. Well, actually, Wait a minute. What is a dash compared to your movement?
It's just your movement
Dash is
again.
double. Yeah, yeah.
Another, what you said, your movement's 50 feet?
So my movement's 50 feet. That means
Every
a
dash is another
100?
50 feet.
So that means I could move 100 feet as a bonus action. And then I could move another 50 feet as just an action and still attack after that.
No, you would have burned your
Probably
action,
so.
bonus action,
And
and
movement.
your movement.
So if
You
I
can do
my
100 in an
movement is,
attack.
let me understand this. My movement's 50 and I dash. How far do I go?
100.
100.
So I get that as a bonus action.
Yes. But then if you dash again is an action that takes, you can't
Well,
attack.
right, but I could just move 50 feet on top of the 100 that I just dashed and still attack. Can't you move normally your full motion and attack? Or
So you
If you
Yes.
dash, it's
So
in
the
place with your
100.
action.
you
just take
double.
the dash part out of it. Let's just say, how far can I move and still attack if I have a movement of 50?
Are you
50.
using your bonus action to dash as well? Or are we just taking every dash out of it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If I have a bonus action to dash,
So that means
then
50 from your movement, and then 50 from the bonus action dash, equaling a total of 100. And then you can still use your action to attack.
Mm-hmm.
don't, well, I mean, a dash, the whole dash is the bonus action, right? No?
Yes, and the dash is 50 feet.
Yes.
So
50
the
additional.
dash adds to your movement. It's not your movement plus the dash.
Okay.
That
So,
makes sense.
so if I have a movement of 50 and I use my bonus action to dash, which is my, when I'm transformed, I can only do that when I transform because of the way I affect gravity. How much can I move?
100.
A total of 100 and still attack.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, that's still a shit ton of movement.
Yes.
Yeah.
A huge amount.
That's
I
100
can.
feet.
The maximum I can move and still attack in a turn is 30. So, and I'm assuming that's for
Yeah,
most people.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Okay. So
3
keep just
times.
keep
Well,
that,
I think
keep
this
that
is
in
a
mind.
great plan.
Oh yeah.
We got a plan.
We did the opposite of plan, whatever that is.
Good job.
We talked about how fast people could go, and that's about it. I mean, I
What
think.
is our plan, you guys?
I mean, straight up,
I
you're
mean,
Tiago, right? You were
true.
given
That is me.
by us, like, or at least me. I said sort of take the reins. Calhoun said to take the reins, so it's up to you.
Yeah.
You tell us what to do.
I think those of us who are sneaky should sneakitize in there and stab him. And I can shoot him with my grapple gun, maybe. And those of us who aren't sneaky should also sneak in there, but kind of back a little bit. I don't know, dude. I'm not a tactician. I'm not good at this. Logan's nodding like, totally not gonna die. Totally not getting everyone killed.
Good. You're good. It's your character arc, dog. You're
Right.
good.
I could attempt to curse the groundskeeper if I can get close enough to him. Oh wait, but he's a druid, so he probably has pretty good wisdom saving throws, so that might not work.
Is the greenhouse we're assuming is probably made of glass or something?
Yeah.
I wonder if Aiken could get an advantage point from up high.
We could
Potentially.
like bust in like a
Just like
SWAT
that.
team all at once.
I'm glad you have it planned out so efficiently.
If it's nighttime, we can assume that there's probably lights inside the greenhouse, right? And you probably would not be able to see out of the greenhouse because the lights would be, you know what I mean? Like if you're looking at a window, you won't be able to see out of the greenhouse very well because the light's reflecting back in. Maybe some of us should go up on the roof of the greenhouse, like Goal, Aiken, and myself. And we can sneak up above him and be above him. And we can drop down on him if need be. I don't
Sounds
know.
like a great way to
Okay.
slip and
Are
break
we?
their
Do we want to fight them separately or together? Separately.
Separate always
That's-
is the preference.
But
So
we want to try to kill the druid fast if we can. The longer that fight lasts, the more likely my uncle is to show up.
So we want to surprise attack the druid. We don't want to reel him in under the guise of a duel and then jump him.
I think it just gives him a chance to transform and get back up and communicate with other people. Like, I mean, we just need to he needs to be watering the flowers, thinking everything's hunky dory, and then be dead. He needs to not see it coming. That's my thought. The more time we give him to scheme and think and plan, the harder it's going to be to take him down, I would assume.
How do druids activate their form? Isn't it just like, oh, I'm doing this? Do they need like semantic or anything? Because I don't think they do. Do they use a druidic focus to do that? Because I'm concerned if we just attack him, he's as soon as it's his, turn, unless grappled. Like I don't think there's really anything we can do to stop him from shapeshifting. Does that make sense?
I agree. Yeah. Maybe first thing we can do is get up right behind him and grapple him. Okay, maybe you guys should go on the roof, and I'll go on the lower level and grapple him.
We could shoot him with our grappling hooks and then hang him by the neck. But I think he would just turn into an eagle.
I agree.
Yeah, I
Or a
honestly
werewolf.
don't think we're going to kill him in one hit, and I think we should try, but I don't think that is going to happen, and I think we're just going to have to
Go
fight.
and kill.
We certainly try to kill him and jump him all at once, but not necessarily
What's
gonna work.
Is there
let's do
anything
this.
you guys can do to? Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, is there anything you guys can do to like impose disadvantage on a saving throw for him? Because then I could try and hold person him, but again, that's a wisdom saving throw. If he's held, he can't do anything. But we can just
If I can grapple him,
shank
yeah,
him.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that.
I can pose advantage on our strikes with the perfume from my sword, but
Wait, no, wait, hold on. I've got um. I've got incense of sleep. We could burn the incense of sleep. That's a Constitution saving throw.
hell yeah.
It's a lower DC, but it's a worse thing for him to try. And theoretically, I could just give someone else the instance of sleep, so we could like try both at once, and maybe one of them will work.
How are we gonna?
I can burn the incense of sleep. I have very good constitution, so I'm pretty hopeful.
We could just like toss it in and gas.
Yeah, I
it.
didn't know if it was like a smoke grenade. I'm not really sure what incense we're talking. Are you
don't-
talking like out of like a genie lamp, or are we talking like a big
I
stick?
Just got this like brick of incense.
No,
Okay.
it's a sensor, so it's like the thing you hold and like swing, and it releases this gas.
Sensors, dude. Those things smelled bad whenever we went to Catholic funerals. Eric
Dude, I
experienced
love
that?
the way those smell.
What?
I
This
also
seems
like
like
the
a-
smell.
I like them.
I do too.
I remember
Let's,
I was a Lutheran kid and I went to a Catholic church for a funeral and they were waving that shit around. I was like, it was freaked out. Anyways, love me some sensors.
What if? Okay, so modern greenhouses oftentimes have a ventilation system. I don't know how modern this greenhouse is. I mean, it's probably fancy because it's Missouri. Maybe there's a ventilation system and we can just put something in the ventilation system.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
Knock them out.
You think that there is some degree of ventilation system because a lot of the gases that are produced by these plants are poisonous. A lot of what is grown here are poisons and things of that variety. So there would definitely be like state-of-the-art ventilation system to prevent anyone working on them from dying.
I think we should do what they did to oh, what's the guy who killed Lincoln? What's that guy's name? John Wilkes Booth?
Uh-huh.
We throw
Yep.
the gas in and stand out front, you know, waiting for him to to come out,
Ooh.
and if he comes out, he comes out, and if he doesn't, he doesn't. You know what I mean? Also very reminiscent of
I like
John
this idea.
Marston from Red Dead Redemption. When they're all sitting
No,
out.
it's a
This is
pretty
what we do.
low
Mr.
DC.
Marston?
We're formulating a
say.
plan, guys.
Dan, what's going on
Meaning you
in
think
your
they'll pass.
background?
Do you have a
There's
poltergeist?
like a strobe light going on.
I turned it so you couldn't see it. So that light is the entrance to the basement, and it's tied to. It's kind of stupid the way they wired it. It's on with multiple lights, it's on a 4-way switch. But so it's that one, the one at the top of the stairs, and then the one at the top of the next flight, which is kind of a chandelier in between, almost to the top of the next level. So it's kind of stupid. So if you're upstairs, 2 levels above where I'm at, and you flip the switch, it turns on all 3 of those lights, which are on 3 different levels.
What?
So if
That
I want
still
to
doesn't
go up these
explain why
stairs in
someone's
the middle
like,
of the night, that means I have to turn on a light which illuminates the upper level where everybody's sleeping.
Hilarious. So
But
why was it
to
so
on
is
and
somebody
off?
just flipping it?
To wire a 4-way switch is a real pain in the ass. And you
Mm.
can't, now that the walls are all finished everywhere except for down here, there's really no way to rewire it. Because the power's at one side and all the lights are wired down to another. And then the
Was that-
22 are basically just wired in tandem.
Sure, but
That's
that still
also
doesn't.
what-
It doesn't
that's-
explain why the fact that it was turning on and off every half a
Was
Was
second.
Angela
Thing
trying to
that I'm getting
communicate with
it,
you?
shit. So that's a smart bulb. Alexa, turn the basement entry blue.
Oh, that's sick. Oh, all right.
Can you make the whole room red, Dan?
Alexa, main basement red.
What?
So
You're
atmospheric.
so fancy.
That's nuts.
I need one of those.
Costco,
right
man.
here.
Costco.
Dude, I feel like a caveman seeing fire for the first time. That is
Yeah.
nuts.
I got themes set up on my phone too. I got like a Christmas theme where they're alternating red and green.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
I got a good night one for the dog,
Hmm.
which turns like one bulb on orange at like 5%. So when you first plug them in, they flash like that. So I think what happened was somebody upstairs flipped it on and off like 3 or 4 times, and the bulb was like, "Argh!" And it did that. It reset.
Error.
Nice.
So they're basically IP addressable bulbs hooked up to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. That's awesome.
They are pretty cool.
So, what if we turn off the ventilation? Somebody throws in the scent or the sleep incense. It fills the room. He falls unconscious. And then we go in there and kill him?
It is a low DC because it's a
he-
pretty powerful effect. It just puts him to sleep.
If he passes the DC, will he know, like, someone's trying to put me to sleep? Or will he just, like, keep watering the flowers?
It doesn't say.
There's gonna be a lot of smoke
Yeah.
around. He's gonna know.
I
I've
know.
also only got 3 uses.
I know I've done a lot of tools shenanigans today, so I don't want to push my limit here with what I could get away with. Is there any way I could look at the alchemical properties of this incense and try to buff it at all? You know, just make it harder to resist.
Sure. Go ahead and just roll a
Like with
D20
alchemist supplies.
D20
Don't
plus
you do
intelligence
alchemy
plus.
as well? Dan also does alchemy too. Don't you?
Ooh.
You might be able to help with that. I thought what somebody else did as well. Sorry, I'm sorry, guys.
Herbalism.
Sure. Go ahead and roll a D20 plus your intelligence plus your proficiency modifier since you're using a tool that you're proficient with.
You're spoiling me today, Logan. You understand that? This is the no,
We'll save.
no, no. I have so many modifiers to add, but I rolled a natural 1.
Yeah. So as you're releasing a bit of this gas, you see as Dr. Siegfried's sort of floating around it, tries to capture it into some sort of vessel, and then you see this pink perfume just balloon outward using 2 of the 3 uses that you had available, and Dr. Siegfried falls asleep.
I think that
All right, don't wake him up. We'll get more done.
It seems potent. I think maybe we're overthinking this. Maybe we just go in there and we fucking kill him.
Now you're talking my language.
I think we should at least try the last incense, though. That could really help us.
I'm gonna go through the front door and sneak through the vegetation, the taller stuff, if I can, and get close to him. Anyone else is welcome to join me, but if you're unsure of your sneaking capabilities, I recommend the roof. That might be a good place to insert the incense. If it doesn't knock him out, I'll be there to grapple him.
I'll follow behind you and split off.
Yeah, I will say that, I mean, just, you know, from what you probably are familiar with, and you more smart boys, you would know that if there is a ventilation system, there must be an inlet somewhere where, you know, if air's going out, air must go in. So if you could find that, that may be a potentially good place to utilize your gas to attempt to sleep him.
Would they need to turn off the outlet and just have the inlet going in?
That's also,
You know what I mean?
that would definitely increase the potency, you think?
Let's get there. Let's start with that and see if we can even get a lay of the land. Let's do it. Let's go.
All right. So are you guys waiting until about dusk?
Yeah, and I'll wake Siegfried up as well.
Yeah, Siegfried sleeps for like a good 5 minutes before somebody decides to wake him up.
that is very effective. There's no chance that this druid will not fall asleep.
Here, try some of this. It might wake you up and get you ready for the fight. And I'll hit him with the thought clarity incense.
Very nice. What does that do?
Yeah, what?
It just lets you cast any spell as an action, I think. I didn't write it down because I bought it as incense to like burn for a spell use, but it says it lets you cast the spell as an action when it normally would take more than an action. So that's my thought on what it does.
Yeah, it makes spells that normally take like a minute just a single action is what it does.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
But it also just, makes you
Clears
think
your mind.
clearly.
These
Little
don't
smelling salts for the
smell
boys.
very good. Any of them.
To be fair, the sleep one smelled pretty good. You're like, oh.
Never mind.
It's a hangover cure.
Yeah.
Well, is it dusk yet? We have to get on our way.
It sure is.
Play my stealth music, my stealth trap music.
Okay.
Or
So
road music.
you're making your way to Matthias Zerby's mansion?
I will reignite my disguise as we do so.
Okay.
And,
As Tiago, are you going in disguise as well?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
All right.
I never
What
left
about
that. I stay in character.
Perfect. Calhoun, not disguising himself, walks up with his 2 6-shooter guns ready to go. Hat on. Looks like Calhoun. The rest of you? Still yourselves?
Yes.
I'm going to wear my cloak,
Oh, okay.
my nature's mantle cloak.
Very nice. You blend into your surroundings. It's quite nice. At which point, you guys slowly make your way toward the mansion district, moving away from the outer rim here. You see people mulling about, going about their everyday activities here in Festar. It seems like today was a day of grand festivals. Quite a few people drunk, even only early on in dusk time here. But some people still making their ways to the festivities. You don't stand out really whatsoever as you make your way toward the Mansion District. You move through Dead Man's Bend, and eventually you see the grand manors of the Zuri complex here in the center. It's a stark contrast compared to the Outer Rim, which are normal houses, the occasional business here and there, but certainly nothing compared to these grand manors, something that Tiago's very familiar with. There are a number of these. They're all built to have a similar motif. It's all this red brick encompassing the walls of all the buildings, and then these really grand black roofs that cover all of them. Each of them with a telltale chimney, all burning this evening in the cold. Moving your way, Tiago almost subconsciously walks toward Matthias's. Without having to think, he takes the first left in toward the manors, and you see this grand mansion seemingly sprawling in every direction. It almost has the look of reaching out toward the surrounding mansions, pulling them under its wing. It definitely looks like the mansion of a vampire, as close as you can approximate it. You walk through the various gravestones of the Zuri clan on the way there, and you see bats flying overhead. An omen, perhaps just a representation of where you are, but it's unsettling to say the least. Moving around the Zuri Manor, you see a few guards mulling about, but they seem to be well into their drink, enjoying the festivities as well, even if they aren't able to join the party directly. Once you turn the corner around the mansion, you see the most elaborate greenhouse any of you have ever seen. Clearly designed by the Zuris and for the Zuris, no expense has been spared. A man walks amongst the plants. He doesn't look to be human. Potentially tabaxi, with fur covering him. He walks from one plant to another, and though you're far away, you can barely hear a dull melody as he sings to them as he waters them. You immediately see Calhoun flush red with anger upon his sight. What would you like to do?
Patience, friend. Patience. I want to look for a ventilation system if there is one visible on the outside of the building. And I'll use
Roll
my
an-
thermal goggles as well to see if there's any other people, stuff like that.
Yeah, roll an intelligence check to see if you can decipher how exactly the ventilation system works.
Not one. I have no idea how that
God
works.
damn it.
Yeah, Tiago looks back toward you. Yeah, there's no ventilation system. Looks like it's all naturally ventilated. I'm not sure.
None? No ventilation?
There is. I don't know how it works.
Calhoun's like, well, what about that fan there in the back? You think that might be something with it?
I will go check it out if you would like.
I'll come with you.
Okay.
Before they go, I want to make sure there's no like guards on patrol or anything with my thermal goggles. See if there's any like
Yeah,
other
roll a
people.
perception check.
Okay. So that's gonna be a 16.
Okay. You see there's a sort of retaining wall here behind the manor, and there are two figures sitting upon it. Both look to be elven, though you're pretty far away, and both relatively young, maybe in their early 30s. They appear to be kissing.
Aiken. There's two down there. Aiken. Maybe you should accompany Siegfried. Make sure he doesn't get into any scrapes. Not sure if they're guards though.
He kind of just glares at the two people just kissing. Sure.
Or goal. Either, I don't care. But if we're gonna split up, stay in pairs.
What do you need?
Siegfried, are you approaching the greenhouse, Siegfried?
Yep, me and Father TR and maybe Aiken, who I think just got sent with us.
Roll stealth checks.
Somebody needs
Anybody,
to go with him.
anybody
Somebody needs to go
approaching,
with.
roll stealth checks.
I'm gonna say, as we're walking over, should we start kissing too to blend in better?
4.
Goal. Somebody get your ass down there and help them out.
Okay.
16.
His goals go.
Goal, stealth check.
$19.
You and Siegfried end up on the other side of this fan looking in toward the greenhouse. You see that this fan is currently sucking air in through the greenhouse. You can see that this would probably be the prime location to potentially use your sleep incense, whatever it may be. However, it's at this moment that you notice Father T leaning up against the retainer wall, coughing. The two who are sitting there look over, and you hear a shrill elven voice call out, "Who's that? What are you doing here, old man?"
Nothing? What are you
Get-
doing here?
Get out of my backyard!
Alright.
What are you?
I'll go
Are you
back the other
drunk?
way. So it's not. I'll pretend to be drunk, I guess. So as not to make them suspicious.
Roll a persuasion check.
Children? Like children?
Persuasion?
They're not children. They're like in their 30s.
Is that like children in Elvish?
It's not children. It's like teens. Like teens.
Okay.
Like they mature at around the same age, but they don't
Yeah.
grow to like adulthood until they're like 50.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
20. Okay. They just sort of like look you off, and you see the guy like tries to act tough for a second, and then she just kind of like puts a hand on his chest, and they settle back into sitting and talking.
You just see an arrow
Well,
flying. Egg. That'd be
Oh my god.
Do you shoot one?
no.
All right.
I
They
returned
do stop
dejected.
kissing after having been
They were
No.
did.
they were doing some premarital kissing. You gotta, that's not
Right.
a victimless crime.
Father
You gotta
T's
shoot
doing
it.
his job.
So Father T, you wander back to where the rest of the crew is. Okay.
Yeah.
Not guards, I take it.
Perhaps. They're not very good at it, though. They only caught me. They've got a 30% success rate.
Just get down. We'll wait for the incense to go.
If I'm not mistaken, he has the incense, right?
Do you? Does he?
I mean,
I don't
I
think
think
we really
so.
clarified, but I would have thought I had the incense.
I would think so. It's your incense.
Aiken, you think you can how big is it? You said it's like a brick, right?
It's a
It's-
sensor.
It's a sensor, so like it opens up, but it's like a little.
Oh. Could you attach that to an arrow and have Aiken fire it over to the other guys?
A sensor?
It's pretty heavy. I mean,
I don't know what that is.
What if?
Like,
What if?
Think of the
Okay.
thing that the
Last
priest.
Yeah.
charge-
oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Ignore me. Never mind.
What if we just use this last charge right now to knock out the two kissers? And then
I will kill the kissers before wasting it on them.
my God.
They're just trying to get some smooches.
Not everyone here is guilty.
I'm gonna be sitting over there,
Someone-
and I am going to be whispering, but like the consonants are like cutting through. I'm like, guys, throw us the incense.
You guys are like looking over there, and you see him like right behind you, like calling out to you.
Give me the incense.
No, give it to me. I'll solve this. And I whistle Proteus to go distract the two so they look
Mm.
the other way, and then I'll just walk over to them.
Right.
I speak and comment to him, just bark or something. I don't know.
Okay, roll a persuasion check for Proteus as he attempts to get their attention.
Just have them just start biting the shit out. Just jump them for no reason. That'll get their attention.
Okay. Persuasion?
Yep.
17.
You see Proteus go up to just a random bush and start barking like hell at the bush. Immediately, the two just sort of like look up, and after a second, like walk over toward the bush to see what's going on. You think you have a few seconds. What would you like
And
to
that, yeah, I will stealth over there.
do? Mm-hmm. Roll
Do I
some
get
check.
advantage since he is? How does that work?
The
since
DC is lower since they're distracted.
Oh, okay. 16.
Okay, 16. You make your way over toward this great fan that seems to be bringing air into the greenhouse. At this point, you can hear the dull sounds of a song coming from the groundskeeper.
I am going to literally just take the incense and hand it to one of the other two, probably Dr. Siegfried, and just go right back,
Roll another stealth check.
like without a word spoken.
Can we see the druid inside the greenhouse?
Oh yeah, I mean it's see-through. It's clear. It's transparent.
Tiago, should I try and kill him right now?
How? How would you?
18.
How?
18.
What about the incense?
Okay, you sneak
I
back.
can.
You see the two like looking at Proteus and confused, and then you see what looks to be like a small rodent like run out of the bush, and the two like leap backwards, and Proteus chases after it, but just jokingly, and then returns to you.
Wow. I'm impressed with his skill.
He like rubs his nose against you.
Pat him on the. I rattle his bones.
Yeah, you see, they're not even slightly perturbed by an undead dog, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, for real. Oh my god.
I can try and push my staff past the limits of its power and see if I can just instantly kill him from here. We could
Maybe
save
save
the
it.
incense.
What?
Use the incense. Save whatever you have in store for the one that comes after this one.
To be
All
clear,
The vampire.
I mean, you are not in any sort of direct conversation with the people who are actually using the incense by this fan.
No, no,
Right.
no. But
Yeah. We're just
it
waiting.
won't
just
work
like
anyways. So should I just give it a shot? I feel like now is a lower risk scenario to try and use this.
Yes, do it. Yes, of course.
I don't understand
If-
why you have no confidence in the incense, and that's the plan we went with. Wait for him to fall unconscious, and
I
then
have
try
no
it. If it
confidence in
fails,
any
I'll
of this.
stab him in the neck.
Hey,
Is it too late?
hey,
It's
it's
like-
just, Father. It's just me and you by this fan. There's no one else
No,
around.
no.
No,
Father
Father
T is
T's with
not
me.
by
It's
this
you and
fan.
Gold.
Wait,
I'm
what?
with you.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
you and
Gold.
I'm with Tiago.
Oh, because he couldn't make it over. Oh my god.
Right.
I'm confused.
Goal
So-
and
I'd like
Dr.
to imagine
Siegfried
we're
are right
fully
by this
having that
fan, like
conversation.
ready to use this incense. Meanwhile, the other three are over here arguing about something else.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
way
lie.
far away from
I'm
you.
not gonna
But
lie.
you
As soon
don't
as I
have
get,
the-
yes,
right?
What?
Aiken gave us the sensor, walked
He
away.
got the sensor to you, ran away.
As soon as I get it, I'm hucking it. I'm flailing it around the fan, and I'm like trying to put it inside of it to
Yeah.
just ooze in there
Yeah,
immediately. I'm
there
not
you go.
gonna wait.
Do it.
Okay, what's the save?
Pop the. Yeah.
They can just
DC
walk back.
14 Constitution save.
Okay, 14's good. Wait, is this
I
guy
got my thermals on.
Elvin, the druid?
No, he appears to be Tabaxi.
Okay, good.
As you guys are having all these discussions, conversations, you all of a sudden see him using the watering can, pouring out some water, and then leaning forward and backward.
It's working. I think it's working.
What He like looks over toward you and makes brief eye contact with you, Dr. Siegfried, before dropping the watering can and face planting into the plants in front of him.
That was easy.
I'm gonna silently gesture over to the other group, like,
It's a 12. 12. Needed a 14. Got a 12.
nice.
All right, phase 2. Go, go, go.
I'm
I
rushing.
will- I
I'm
will-
rushing in just through the door. You know.
Yep.
And
I
to-
will also.
The door is not
Try
locked.
and-
You
How long does it take for the mist to go away?
Oh yeah.
Is it like a lingering
Take a deep
effect?
breath. Yeah.
have no idea.
Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna sneak back over, which I probably shouldn't have. Should have just stayed.
Yeah, you're like, just got over here. You sneak back to the other fucking side. Go ahead and roll another stealth check.
This is gonna go poorly. Oh, never mind. 24.
Okay, you're fine. You see that the couple has now stood up and are like walking away. They seem to be going somewhere else.
How? I asked the doctor what makes him wake up. If he gets hit by any sort of weaponry, will he wake up?
I don't know. It wasn't my incense. It was Father T's over there.
Think, doctor. Just take a guess.
All right. Years of scientific study. Could I know? How can I try
From
to?
your experience with sleeping individuals, a good smack will usually wake them up.
Yes. We must coordinate our attacks to happen all at once. For when one hits, he will probably snap awake. Very likely.
I see. I go, and then I just body and try to pull it out of the smoke.
Wait, you do what?
I'm gonna go in and try to drag his unconscious body out while holding my breath.
We don't.
Okay.
We
Go ahead and-
This
I
could be
see him-
easier.
If I see him go in, I'm gonna go in as well. If there's an
Are you-
opposite door or something, like,
Are you also holding your breath?
hell yeah. I do the like.
Guys, no,
Alright,
we can.
I'm gonna go over the wall again too.
I'm trying.
Okay.
I'm trying to like stop you guys, and you just run into the fog, and I'm just gonna be like, okay.
The two of you entering in, roll a Constitution saving throw with advantage since you are holding your breath.
14.
14 just succeeds. I believe. Is that right?
DC 14.
14 is the saving throw. So.
Succeeds.
15.
Okay, and then both of you roll strength checks. You need a cumulative 30 to get him out of there
No,
without having to
shit.
roll another check.
Is that like athletics or just straight strength?
Strength?
Oh, okay, yeah. 13 for me.
Damn, I keep rolling. Yeah, wow. 2, so you get what was that? 15 total or 13 total?
Okay. Yeah, 15 total. Go ahead and roll another Constitution saving throw with advantage.
I don't
Kind
want
of
to
like look at him. To,
What,
like
what,
time
are,
our
what are your con modifiers?
+2.
+2. Got it.
Plus 3.
+3. Okay, you guys are okay so far.
Yeah,
Roll that save.
I rolled an 18.
Uh-huh.
My dice keep falling off the fucking thing. Ooh. Okay, less than 14.
Okay. As you guys are like dragging him, you're about halfway out, and all of a sudden, you realize that Aiken is no longer pulling, and you see him leaning up against the side of one of these plant boxes, and next thing you know, he's face down in the soil, asleep.
Can I, like, as I'm, like, falling out, I'm like, hit me, slash. And I'm, like, saying, just harm me.
I'm just gonna take my. Go ahead. If anyone wants to do anything.
Yeah, sorry. Do I have time to kick into gear here?
Sure, yeah.
As soon as I see them start to struggle, kept pulling the body and struggling to not breathe, I'm gonna just whistle at my steel defender, who's just gonna trot in. Doesn't need to breathe, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's pretty damn strong. So I'm gonna go and, the steel defender's gonna go grab like a pant leg of this guy and just yank and like look up at Tiago and just sort of like give him a little countdown nod and then try to yoink him the rest of the way out.
Roll a strength check for the steel defender. Tiago, are you helping pull out, or are you looking toward Aiken here?
I'm gonna keep pulling this guy.
Roll a strength check.
A natural one.
Fuck.
Don't you get advantage? Oh, wait. Never mind.
And
Does he?
for the steel defender?
21.
21. Okay. You see Tiago like kind of look over to Aiken for a moment, grab hold, and then slip and fall, face planting as well here into the greenhouse. Immediately you suck in breath without thinking. Go ahead and roll a Constitution saving throw without advantage.
Yeah, that'll happen.
8.
You fall asleep. The steel defender does pull the body out of the greenhouse, though.
Good girl.
Yeah, it's a very slow and agonizing process, but it does happen. The other two of you are sound asleep. Both of you like face into the soil. You guys are not even aware if they're like breathing. Like very hard to tell. They're like face down into soil. Doesn't look good.
As soon as the steel defender's out, I go, sorry, more work, and I gesture towards the other two, and the cat like rolls its eyes and is going to run in, and he is going to attempt to just bite the shit out of both of you.
Okay, roll for an attack on both of them.
First, Tiago.
Mm-hmm.
Do I get advantage because he's like laying like he's asleep or
unconscious,
incapacitated? I guess is what
Tiago, you also don't get your dexterity modifier on your armor class.
27.
Yeah, he bites you. Roll damage.
And then his bites are not very bad, so that's why I'm not too worried about this. It's because he hasn't really scaled at all. So that is going to be 7 points of force damage.
Okay, Tiago, you wake up with a jolt as you feel your calf sort of chunked.
I like draw weapons like instinctively.
Mm-hmm.
And then
I'm gonna try to make my way out.
Yeah, no problem.
Actually,
you're able to like quickly crawl out of the area after realizing what's going on.
The second is going to be a 21 to hit.
When that's on Aiken.
Yeah, sorry, on Aiken.
Presume that hits Aiken.
Bites me in the
I
butt.
seriously dropped my D8 and I don't know where it went. Okay. Perfect. 5 points of damage.
He bites Aiken, and immediately Proteus like goes right up to the edge of the greenhouse, like growling, like very aggravated with him biting Aiken. But upon seeing Aiken like scramble out, Proteus settles down a bit. He's like staring at your steel defender. But you're all out.
I'm gonna shuffle in between the two. Like, okay, good job. You have done your work.
Aiken's gonna make quick work to try to tie up the Tabaxi dude with rope.
Yeah, I mean he's not resisting. You're able to tie him up pretty efficiently. Go ahead and let's say just roll a dexterity check to see how efficiently you tie him.
That is 20.
The double Langford is tighter.
That's
It'll
15.
hold.
What was
What'd
it?
you
Sorry.
What kind of knot?
The double Langford. I'm gonna try to
Double?
Yeah, the Langford double. I'm gonna try to give him help. I'm gonna help him by telling him to tie the Langford double.
Roll advantage then.
Oh, it was lower. I rolled a nat 1 the second time.
Okay. What was the first one?
It was 15.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you think he's well and thoroughly hogtied.
We should gag him too.
Agreed.
That way he can't talk.
Okay.
Or we cut his tongue out.
Also an option.
Now.
You think that would definitely wake him up?
We should all just coordinate our attacks right now.
Logan, if I tried to cast Hold Person on him right now, do I think that would wake him up?
All of his muscles nodding into yes, immediately it would wake
But
him
like,
up.
if it failed, do you think it would wake him up?
Yes. I think that being held is not like a pleasant experience.
Sure. Okay.
He can slowly
It's like
pulls
all
out
of your
his-
muscles like nodding into place. Yeah, he would definitely wake up. His jaw
Hey.
just like clenching. Yeah.
pull out his war pick and start to like shine it with his clothes, like the blunt side.
All right.
Okay.
Let's all essentially just stand around him. You pull your weapons out, the most damaging thing you can, and let's all get to swinging.
If I were to cast my fairy fire on him, would it give any extra advantage? I mean, he's already bound and prone.
Anyone using a melee attack within 5 feet would already have advantage, but it would certainly give additional advantage if it were to hit, which will automatically hit because he's bound and can't move.
So it would be kind of redundant, right? It would just be.
I think so.
I mean,
Oh.
potentially. It would certainly give additional advantage. You get to roll 3 dice instead of 2. It's not going to hurt, but it's a spell that
Alright.
you'd use.
Yeah.
Well, it's the
you have
instance on my sword.
yeah, you have 10
I'm gonna
of
use
them, so you can use them.
I'm gonna use
Go wild with them.
Yep.
I'm gonna gag him so when he wakes up and potentially isn't dead, he won't be able to scream.
No problem. You have him gagged. I assume you do it tenderly enough to not wake him.
Yes, but tight enough to where he can't spit it out.
Okay, roll a dexterity check. That's a very tight line to ride.
15 again.
Okay. He kind of like struggles for a second before just kind of like nodding back off.
I like pull my rapier out, and, like put it right against where his heart would be. I kind of like look at everybody else. This may seem wrong, killing a bound and gagged,
Calhoun cocks his gun.
but let us not forget of all those who died in Tria. Let us not forget all the wrongs that were done by this man here. And
By the
people he
way,
worked for.
is it all right if I shoot this? Everybody's gonna know we're killing this guy.
I'm gonna hand him another sword. I'm gonna hand him like the short sword I have. Not the best idea.
Probably a better idea. Thank you.
I'm gonna pull out my sword and find a. I'm gonna probably attach or attack at the. I'm gonna stab down at the base of the spine.
I call
Oh
dibs
my
on the head.
god!
I call dibs on the head.
Trying to paralyze this guy?
I'm going for heart.
He's got the heart. He's got the head.
I got my sword like
You have him on his side to maximize your area.
yeah, exactly, precisely.
Okay.
I'm gonna have the steel defender open his jaws, ready to sort of smash them down, and I'm gonna take out my sickle and use it. I'm gonna try to just hay hook like just into his chest and do some ripping.
Huh?
Proteus is also going to use his long sword. On the
All right.
I'm gonna hold my staff right above his stomach. I'm just gonna try and slam it down through his stomach.
All right. How do you guys synchronize your attacks?
This
A
fairy
good
fire needs to like.
And a one.
on
And-
3 count. On 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, then go.
1, 2, 3, hit.
1,
1,
Hit.
2,
2,
3.
Do we-
3.
Do we get our multiple attacks?
Certainly. I mean, you can attack him with as many attacks as you'd
It's like the most gnarly, brutal thing. Yeah,
Yeah, we are.
you're just gonna stab him until he is absolutely dead.
you're beating a man who is unconscious to death. That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Stabbing.
He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. He's a bad guy. Stab, stab.
We know this is the right guy, right?
Oh my god.
Hey, yo, Calhoun, this is the right guy.
I'm gonna count it down. Wait,
This
who's Russell?
is definitely him. All right. Everyone using a melee attack within 5 feet, you have double advantage due to the fairy fire. So roll 3 dice and give me the best of the 3 to hit. If you're using multiple attacks, continue with all of them. I'm assuming this is going to be a quick fight. Sync attack, absolutely. Yeah, you have many foes within range. You have advantage on the attack. You have sync attack for a variety.
I
of
got
reasons.
31 on the first hit and a 27 on the second.
27. No.
27's not enough.
15.
15 misses. He has hide armor on.
20 for the dog.
Okay. That hits.
Yeah, for my dog as well, it's another 27.
27 hits.
24
Hits.
for the first one, and then 26 for the second one.
I'm sorry, Father T. I was mistaken. He does not. You do hit because he's not using his shield effectively, as he is unconscious.
I rolled 23, 27, 27, and 29.
They all hit.
Oh my god.
I'll do 0 points of damage as I rolled a 1, and my attack is -1.
Wiggle.
Very nice.
What is his armor class, Logan?
16. Oh no,
Okay.
I'm sorry, 14. 14.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Anyone within 5 feet of him, as he is prone, gets a critical hit. I think, something like that.
Wait, what?
Eric, no.
No, that's only when you're paralyzed, or
Okay, he's
whatever hold person does to you.
Yeah, paralyzed. So okay, never mind. Just roll damage. Oh, Calhoun. Calhoun's gonna fucking stab his ass.
Stab him, Calhoun. Stab him. He insulted your honor.
Something like that. All right. How much damage you guys do?
33 for me and the dog.
Got it.
37 for me.
Got it.
45 for me.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I need. I did not add up both of them at the same time.
Father T, did you miss? Or you did 0 damage?
No, I missed. I just did 0 damage.
Okay.
What?
Sorry, I hit, but I did 0
Oh.
damage.
How'd you do 0?
My wrist.
I did 32 points of damage, and then I'm gonna use one of my arcane jolts to essentially just electrify the shit out of his insides as I do it to add on some more damage. So that's gonna be shit. What did I say already? 30.
30. I already have it. Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
cool. And that's another 11 force damage off that.
What does your robot bro do?
That was with I already added him in.
Well, wardens, how would you like to do this?
I'll go first. Crush his head like a grape under my while the dog stabs his neck with his sword.
Alright.
Not like through, but like down. So like kind of like
Great.
cutting smooth butter with a 1,000-degree knife.
Thanks. Yeah.
I'm just gonna stab him in the middle and use that metal spike inside of him to just push a bunch of amps through his entire body.
Wow.
Simple.
He's gonna be like a puddle when we're
I'm
done.
gonna give him a nasty bruise.
Hell yeah. I mean, to be fair, you guys barely killed him. It was
Develops
close.
as a heat.
Oh, really?
Grows and grows.
12 HP over. Yeah.
Wow, sweet. So
I'm just gonna find his heart with the tip of my blade and just go and pull it
Oof.
out.
Yikes.
I'm going to attack just above the hips. I'm going to find the soft spot between two vertebrae. So I'm going to like hack and try to slice into it, then hack again. And when I do that, I'm going to press in and then pull the blade down to slice across a more longitudinal area. Then I'm going to kick his hip on one side twice to just push off his lower extremity from his upper body.
Oh,
Remind me to never piss off a nurse.
I was literally just about to say, I was like, wow, you have such a great visualization of the human body. You should be like a nurse or something, Dan.
This is not done in orthosurgery, I swear.
Oh, really? Good to know.
Although I've heard that when they do hips and knees, it's very brutal.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
I've seen
We
like
used
a
to get
footage
into
of
this
somebody's
thing.
hip just getting straight up like just a regular ass power drill, just going to town.
Well, like I've heard that they have to like muscle shit around until
Yeah.
where the-
Mhm. I've heard that, like, because we used to get those specimens that, like, the floor in the surgery room would have, like, gristle and, like, cartilage and stuff from them, like, basically, like, working the, like, having to strike it and, you know, the shit would splatter. Yeah. Isn't that insane?
Said it before and I'll say it again. The human body is disgusting.
Agreed.
Real
Meat
gross.
bags.
As somebody who works in like a chemical engineering lab all day, like I cannot imagine like splatter. Like that is so gross to me. Like if something drops on the floor, it's like a disaster for us. You know, like we have to like fucking
Yeah.
fix that immediately. Like any spillage is like, oh my god, like you have to fucking clean that up. I cannot
Yeah.
imagine being a doctor and just being like, yeah, that's some blood on the floor. Like it happens to the best of
Oh.
us. Like
I don't know if you guys want to hear it, but I have lots of stories about splatter.
I don't know if I want to hear any splatter stories, Dan. To
Yeah.
be honest with you.
Yeah. Probably not.
If the prelude to the story is speaking of splatter, that's a little bit
Well, I didn't think. I just started thinking. I'm like, oh yeah, that, and oh yeah, that. So yeah, I can think of 4 things right off the bat.
Jesus fucking Christ. Cut it. Next thing. You guys kill this guy. All right.
So I will say the other day, you know, we're getting more casual with our masking, and most of the docs and the fellows and the residents and the nurses, if we're not like in a COVID area and we're separated and sitting at a desk or whatever, and where nobody's around, you know, we'll pull one side of our mask off so we can fucking breathe for a second and do some charting or whatever. And I go over to our cardiovascular ICU a lot because I'm a cardiovascular nurse, and that's where I meet up with 2 of the 3 teams. Excuse me. And you know, when I was an ICU nurse, we didn't wear masks unless somebody had like neutropenic precautions or they had airborne precautions. Then we would wear a mask when we went in, or a PAPR. Either way, you couldn't really smell much. So I'm used to wearing a mask when I go over there. And the other day, and I've been stopped up for a long time, not really smelling super well. And I've been doing pretty well here lately. And today, I was over there and I was charting, and I was like, okay, and I pulled off one side of my mask, and I was like, oh, I forgot how an ICU smelled. I'm so used to not having it. And I was like, because I could smell kind of blood and blood products and urine and you know, shit. I mean, it's not like it just smells like you walk into like an outhouse or something, but it's like all of those smells are kind of not pungent, but they're all there. You know, if your sense of smell is more acute, and it's been a while since mine's been acute, but I was like, oh, I forgot this.
Home sweet home. Yeah.
Delicious. Yeah. Thanks for that, Dan.
Okay, let me tell one story that's not super gross.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of funny. That was just the first one that I thought about. So my friend Vicky, she's a nurse. Her dad was in on the floor. This is when I was a CNA, and they always told us as CNAs you should wear non-ventilated leather shoes, and we had to wear white leather shoes. So I had to go like Shoe Carnival to find some K-Swiss shoes that were all leather without vents on the top, because everything has vents on the top if it's a tennis shoe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had this. He was a big dude, so he grew confident in me coming over to help him stand from his chair so that Vicky could take the urinal and stick it up there, and he could fill the urinal. And because he was just too weak to walk, he was gonna die within a couple of days. And so I would put a gate belt on him and get underneath him and literally rock and pick him up and hold him standing right in front of the chair, and then Vicky would stick the urinal in there, and he would take a leak, and then we'd be done. Well, one day she didn't put the urinal in the right place because it's her dad, so she's not going to like take his dick and stick it in the urinal, which is what a lot of us would do, even though it sounds gross. And yeah, he just pissed all over my legs and my shoes and
Oh
everything. And I was
God.
like, Vicky, I don't think you have the urine on the right spot. So there was
Wow.
like fucking urine everywhere. And of course, I had an extra pair of shoes, socks, underwear, scrubs, and so I promptly went and
Nice.
took a shower and cleaned myself off. But that was the first splatter story that I thought of whenever.
Ugh.
And it's funny
That-
now, but it
ugh.
wasn't funny then.
Yeah, I bet not.
That is
But
extremely horrifying to me.
yeah, but I was taking care of a really good friend's loved one who was going to die in a couple of days. So I just took one for the team, and I'm like, what do you do?
Yeah.
Sure.
Right.
Urine is sterile.
Yeah. I guess just from my perspective, coming from a chemicals lab, like, dude, if I feel something like splatter on me, I'm like, that's
Oh,
probably gonna like destroy my skin. Like, I'm probably gonna get
yeah,
cancer now.
yeah,
Can't even imagine. That's wild.
yeah.
Jesus.
Anyway, D&D. We just hacked this fucker in half, stabbed him through the heart, bit
Yeah,
him to death.
he's having the worst day ever for about half a second, and then it doesn't matter anymore. So he's dead.
So I'm gonna watch Proteus. Is Proteus biting, or did he actually have a sword?
Proteus fucking stabbed this motherfucker with a sword.
Yeah, he has a sword in his mouth.
Okay,
It's
so
like a really cool magic sword too, because it's like one from I forget what they were, but they were like the things in the basements of Father T's family.
oh
You
yeah.
just picked it up.
It's a deep
I'm
cut.
gonna
The
watch.
Valzyre Mansions. There we go.
I'm gonna watch Proteus, and then I'm going to sheathe my sword after I kind of wipe the blood off both sides of my sleeve. Sheathe my sword, and I'm gonna look over to the good doctor, and I'm gonna pull out just the tip that he added to my meteor hammer. And while I'm thinking about Proteus and why didn't he bite this guy, I'm gonna hold up the part that he added, and I'm gonna say tooth,
Hmm.
and I'll let it back down.
Nice.
Good. Simplistic and befitting.
I like it. Let's stay on point. I'm gonna turn towards the castle or the mansion.
You turn over, still like your head a bit fogged from this incense that put you to sleep. You're still like sort of shaking it off, but looking up, you see the darkened window shades of each window. Clearly, no light within the manor, even this early, even into the evening. Nothing in particular catches your eye from the outside looking in, but it's a very large building.
I'm gonna hit everyone with a clear mind incense just to shake off the sleepiness.
Nice. Yeah, it works immediately.
We'll
You all
take a
feel,
smoke break in the greenhouse for a second then.
yeah, right. You feel yourselves rejuvenated, revitalized, focused.
I was just gonna ask, is there any cool greenhouse technology that I can steal here? Like if I wanted to continue to grow temporal nodes, or I could take back to the place with me that might help me.
There's certainly a lot to be investigated. Are you going to spend the next half an hour looking through?
No, it's not worth it. I'll come back after we kill this guy.
All right, up to you. But I mean, it looks like they have a lot of technology, but not something you can just grab within a minute or two.
Alright, how are we going to find where he is in that big mansion?
I'm gonna look at Calhoun. Any ideas? Or do I know any thoughts of where he might be in the mansion?
I mean, you weren't exactly tracking his movements day to day, but I mean, it's about dinner time. You think it's fairly likely he'd be probably sitting around his dinner table right now. You do know that he has a grand dining table on the first floor, about center of the mansion.
I'm
But
gonna
other than
say
that,
to Tiago. I'm gonna say like, use your thermal goggles. Wait, would he give off? Vampires are dead, right?
Good question.
Would that?
May not be too warm. I'll slap them on and see if there's any heat sources in any of the windows or anything.
Sure. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
Did I put my dice away? No. I think it's a 19. 19.
Okay. You see several people moving around, and at first it's hard for you to gauge what exactly is going on. But after a long second of scanning the perimeter, you see that congregated in the ballroom, it looks like there's a dance happening. In fact, you even see one individual playing on what looks to be a grand organ. And as you really strain your ears, you can barely hear the notes playing out as all of these couples are going about their routine dances. It all looks very choreographed. It's a dance that you also learned growing up. It's a very classic Inzartan dance, a remembrance to those who lost their lives in the initial Inzartan rebellion.
So?
Like there is quite a few people in there.
You estimate 15.
Why?
I estimate
Were they expecting us?
15 maybe. No. In fact, I don't think they know we're here at all. It looks as though they're dancing. It's a ball of some kind.
They're having an elegant dance?
And I'll say that, like, looking over it once more, you recognize this is probably a marriage celebration. Like, someone just got married.
Oh.
Like, you're familiar with this type of dance, and it's normally associated with, marriages, weddings.
Was that couple we just saw, they weren't like, were they dressed fancy or anything?
You didn't get a good look at them. I mean, besides your, heat vision goggles. But you presume that they're probably also attending the festivities, whatever they may be.
Gotcha.
I know I also did not get a good look at them. I didn't make a point to. Could I remember anything about them to disguise myself into to try to replicate one of their appearances?
Go ahead and just roll a perception check to see how much you recognize or how much you noticed, I guess.
I can speak common to Proteus, like he understands and he can communicate it back to me clearly, like in his own unique way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask him, hey, what are those two what do those two kissers look like? What were they wearing?
Yeah, in his dog way, he has a difficult time explaining, but eventually you come to the realization that these are probably a bridesmaid and a groomsman of this celebration. It looks like this is probably a Zuri marriage, which is far from unique here in Zarta. But the man was wearing a tuxedo, outlined in black with a black tie and a black undershirt. The woman was wearing a similar black dress with a tight-cut black bodice.
As he's like barking or doing his thing, I'm like, oh, black undershirt? Oh, that's a lot of black, black. Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, a lot of black. He's black.
Really? Oh, that's interesting that you'd say that.
Literally, like, you guys all look at Aiken like he's fucking insane as he's talking to his dog for a bit.
I got an 18 on my perception check.
I mean, you certainly don't get as much as Aiken explains to you. I assume, Aiken, you are telling the group what you've just learned from your dog.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you get sort of a general idea they're wearing black, but Proteus gives a detailed description of their current outfits.
I am gonna try my best to become that man that we saw out here.
Okay, I mean, with your hat of disguise is ready to go once again. Yeah. I mean, you can become him almost exactly. I will say that his specific facial features, you're probably not like a perfect him, but you're pretty close.
I want it so that my face just looks like it would look like at a far distance, even if you're up close. It's like weirdly blurry.
It's like, yeah.
Well, I have found my way in, or at least I can investigate somewhat. What if
I think I'll
the
keep some quiet fairly
vampires
close.
at the wedding reception make me drink blood?
Happens to the best of us.
I was hoping to avoid those people altogether if possible.
Well, do you know where Matthias is specifically? Because if not, I feel as if getting in there and getting some sort of information is the only way.
I will say that you do know Matthias is a master organist, probably the one playing.
So it does look like he's in the middle of that room, at least on the end of it. It's people. I mean, I could try to put disguises together for everybody, but we don't have enough suits and whatnot to all look like we belong there.
Wow, if
Oh, I
only
mean,
I had.
it's also not like a ton of people. It's like 15. So if like 5 people showed up, it's not like, oh yeah, you'll fit right in.
Right. True.
You're
Yeah.
like 1/3 of the total populace of the event.
Yeah, I don't think going in should be an option.
If only
One or
I
two,
had
maybe.
2 more uses of incense. I could just knock them all out.
Is there any other type of like balcony or anything that leads up to like the upper part of the mansion that seems like unused? Maybe we
And
could
roll
just
an investigation check.
sneak in and like wait for the festivities to end, and then I don't know. God damn it.
Proteus as a distraction worked well.
Is it good?
Yeah, he's pretty good at those.
Okay, so that's a 12.
Like pat him on his bone.
The 12. There's nothing that jumps out to you. There is a balcony, about 3 floors up, that sort of overlooks the backyard, the greenhouse where you currently are. But you haven't. I mean, unless you have a way of reaching up there, it's going to be difficult. And it's not like it really opens up into the central area. It definitely looks like there are these sort of segmented floors. The top floors being, rooms, bedrooms, bathrooms, that kind of thing, with the main floor having the event with the ballroom and the formal dining room, things like that.
I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna try and cast Divine Intervention. And I'm gonna try and send all of these guests, except the main vampire, back in time to before they were here.
Okay.
What?
Ooh.
What?
It does not work.
It.
Uh,
What is it a check? Wait, is it a check? Well, or
You have
Yeah,
to
I have
roll
to
under your
roll
level on
a
a D100.
percentage to see if it works. I had an 11% chance of that working.
Never
Yeah,
lucky.
your god acts on your behalf or whatever.
So I stand up for a minute, I focus really hard, and then I just sit down. That's just not gonna work.
Out of breath.
Jesus.
Well, we are overlooking the obvious option. I go in. I swoon some particular vampire woman. I get I get some information that we can use to lure Matthias out, or maybe I'll talk to the man himself.
the last time you tried to swoon a woman, you threw up.
I was also quite intoxicated that night.
Well, it's like a fucking 3 months ago cut. Love to see it.
Actually, it was in game. It was like fucking 3 days ago, but like
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like out of game, it's been a
Right.
minute.
I'll never forget that. It's like it happened in real life.
Good.
that's great. I'm glad that's the memory of all of them that you choose to hold on to.
Yeah.
Remember the time that Garrick threw up when he tried to dance with a chick?
Since then, he's like crafted like a beautiful sword. He's like killed
Made
Oh, wait.
many
you
enemies.
a weapon
That was
today.
D&D. Sorry. Sorry, that was D&D. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I don't know how we're gonna get in there without suddenly having 15 vampire thralls potentially and Zuri
I
family members.
could have someone come in alongside me. Actually, two people, as I have 2 potions of invisibility. So you could be there just for assurance.
Well, we know what a vampire looks like with the heat goggles or whatever, right? So how many of them look like vampires?
Yeah, do they look the same as him? Do they all project the same kind of heat signature?
I mean, not appreciably different, at least from where you're looking. It looks like he's also a warm-blooded individual.
Okay.
I could try and turn undead and make anyone who's undead try and run away.
What if we just wait and see what happens when the song is over? What is next? The ceremony?
Yeah, what would I know about like the next part of the ceremony? What is gonna happen next?
Roll a history check. See how well you know your.
Incestuous fucking Zuri weddings.
12
Thank you, Garrick.
blood drinking incestuous weddings.
Those are
Would
the
you roll?
best kinds.
A 12.
A 12. So you'd probably know that the actual ceremony is probably already done. This is like the celebration
It's the
afterward.
reception,
So
dude.
it's the reception, yes, and you are somewhat familiar with the goings ons, but you have a hard time telling if this is, you know, before the toast, after the toast, before they eat, after they eat. You don't really know, but there are definitely multiple steps to the celebration, to the procedure after the original marriage. You assume that the people who went outside, that was probably directly after the ceremony, so they are probably still yet to eat, but you don't know when that might be.
Do I know anything about these blood rituals? Like when they eat, do we expect that, does Tiago know anything about like, is he gonna be drinking blood? My uncle, specifically.
Hmm. Yeah, so you
Are there
know
gonna be
that.
live sacrifices, stuff like that?
Yeah, live sacrifices, no. However, you do know that a Zuri wedding typically involves the bride and groom drinking each other's blood.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
That's so cute.
Debatably.
I'm curious to know who got married. Also,
As am
is there
I.
any way we can see inside without
What?
using just the thermals?
What if one of us
Yeah.
who can don a good disguise were to go inside and say, after Matthias finishes his song, not in the middle, and says, "My lord," or whatever, the gardener needs you outside to approve of the wedding gift for the bride, or something, just to draw him outside.
I like it.
What if 2 of us went invisible and Tiago just walked in like he was a guest? Ah,
Thought
uncle.
about that. Yeah, I thought about taking the beard off and just
Isn't he
slicking my
sending
hair back
assassins
and
he
after you?
he did send an assassin to kill you,
That's a
That's a
power move.
Sigma
like
ass.
yesterday.
That is kind of badass,
It
to
is.
be fair.
It is a power move.
Oh, uncle, I'm doing good.
Is
How
he gonna
are
just
you, Uncle?
brutally
How's
murder
the
you at
wedding?
the wedding?
Yeah, is he gonna go straight to kill him, or is he gonna play it off like he didn't try to have you killed and try to play the game, the social game, which gives us a chance to move into position?
Yeah, and definitely I could lure. It's probably pretty likely to lure him out unless he's got. It doesn't seem like he's got armed guards there, but I don't know.
It's
I
true.
like
If he's
it.
trying to play the social game, he might try to come out on his own. Excuse me for a minute.
He probably thinks he could kill me by himself too. I mean, he is a vampire lord, and I'm just one Zuri elf who's
I am not
populated.
going to lie to all of you. I have donned this disguise, and I want to go into that reception.
I think you
So we
should.
can have 2 invisible, 1 disguised, 1 plain sight. That leaves 1 person that is an add-on that may not get noticed. 1 person amongst 15.
I can stay out here. I will probably be
Oh, there you go.
more effective standing outside, because then he can't instantly kill me.
You
Probably
can
a good
hang
idea.
out with Proteus and the Steel Defender.
Can you watch my cat?
And my dog.
I'm gonna change my clothes to a suit, and then like put my hair back in like a fancy ponytail kind of thing. Actually,
A ponytail? Is that
I don't know. I don't know. Seemed fancy, seemed elegant, seemed a bit
yes,
pompous.
I'm sure it'll look fine.
Does it? It doesn't look all right.
No,
I
I'm
like,
just fucking with you.
like
All right, two of you are coming in with us. I believe the stealthier ones at that, which will be good because even though you are out of sight and visibly, you also need to be outside of hearing range as well. So be stealthy, even though you are fully invisible. I'm gonna pull out my 2 invisibility potions, hand one to Gol, hand one to Aiken. And Father, you are alright watching the animals?
Yes.
Alright, I'm
They-
gonna lean down.
they were near-
Prototype 7734-CAT. Listen to everything that this man says. And he will now listen to everything that he said.
I look to Proteus and I say, "Yeah, he's chill."
I now have power over both beast companions.
You're
You've
invincible.
grown so powerful. Use your
Power just
anger.
tilted to one side of the party
Strike
there.
me down and
I'm a
up.
double agent working for your uncle. I was just waiting for you to hand me control.
That's the long game.
That sounds like Will's character.
Oh, he's just randomly evil? Okay.
No, Will again? Wow.
Not
I'm
again.
shocked.
Know what they say? Third time's the charm.
He just
Each of you will be killed by your own companions.
Fun. Well,
Who's gonna go first? The invisible folks?
I
or-
would
or
love to
me?
go first.
Go ahead.
I want to get a good read of the room first before Tiago comes in and presumably crashes the entire reception.
Yeah, you assume that's not going to go well.
Yeah, I assume it's not going to be great. So, can I just walk in the front? Do they have the front door open?
I mean, you're currently in the back, so you'd have to walk around the house, but you could try it.
I'm just gonna say to Tiago then. What entrance would I enter in? Where's the?
I mean, certainly you'd enter the front, not like the back door.
I don't
Yeah,
not
the
know
front.
if they have.
If you were
the
like
front.
showing up for the party.
I don't know. All right, I'll go through the front then.
Okay. You walk in immediately. The door is wide open. No one greets you at the door unless you knock or something.
I get into character,
Uh huh.
and I'm gonna stroll in.
Okay. Walking in, you see that everyone is currently taking part in the dance. It seems like it's sort of one of those folk-inspired dances that have a routine of some kind that you do not know.
All right, I'm gonna hang.
Everyone's dancing.
I'm gonna hang outside the door a little bit and wait for the
Uh-huh.
dance to get over with.
The butler walks up. A champagne, sir. He holds out a glass of champagne.
I'm gonna snag one.
Is there anything I can get you, sir?
No.
Oh, fantastic. As he walks by, you see on his neck 2 deep gouges, as if he has potentially been bitten by a mouth approximately human size.
he's like Mr. Brady.
I'm assuming that Aiken and I made our way in the door at the same time so that the door doesn't swing more than once.
Yep, you're amongst
Isn't it wide
the
open?
foyer.
The door isn't it like wide open?
I mean, it's open, but you had to open it to enter for
Oh,
sure. I mean, it's not like it was just like hanging
yeah.
open, but
Open.
you all make your way in. As you enter the dinner party, I assume we might have to pick up there next time. It is 11:21. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, maybe. Plus, that's like the what anacrusis of the whole fight. Like we're about to start fighting.
Perhaps.
We shall see next time
God, I do
on
wanna.
Dragon Ball Z.